Hey guys, so I just made the long video about the SP stuff from the email that I read. And then I went in to do my cardio, obviously. It's funny, like it's gonna take me a minute, I think, to adjust to the fact that I don't have to discuss what I'm talking about here with anybody. Like I don't have to answer for what I'm saying to anybody. It's amazing how being away from it briefly for a short period of time can illuminate a lot of things, because I've never really been somebody who cares what other people think too much. Like, not to the degree where I wouldn't do something because it's unpopular, or if I really want to do something and someone has an objection, that's not something that would make me not do it. So I view myself as somebody who really doesn't care all that much what people think. But in social situations, because I'm not like completely obnoxious, I do care. I don't want to offend people that I like, or unnecessarily hurt somebody's feelings or something like that. So, I've really censored a lot of what I said. Like, for example, at the end of the last video, I said something about, I was like talking about the things I was glad I wasn't gonna have to deal with. And one of them was not having to deal with a partner that has a drinking problem. And after that, I was sitting here and I was like, I really shouldn't post that, because I don't want to offend anybody that has a drinking problem. Obviously that doesn't make you a damaged person or somebody who's unattractive. That is my own personal thing. That's my own personal thing I don't want to deal with, because I've already been in a relationship with an alcoholic. I have a stepfather who has been sober for 30 years. And believe me, just getting sober from alcohol does not remove all of the traits of an alcoholic personality from you. I can say that for sure. My dad and my brother both love to party. Well, my dad passed away now, but I'm just tired of dealing with that. And the ex I referenced, who was abusive to me and all of that, was the biggest drunk I've ever known in my life. I'm so glad, I'm so glad that I didn't try to alter any of those people or alter my ex, anything like that. I'm so glad I didn't try to manifest the specific person to be different. I am glad that I knew that for me, because I know myself, I work with myself. I'm not trying to be perfect and limitless in this life, because that to me is counterproductive. It ends up with not getting what you want. And for me, being with somebody who has a substance abuse problem is just not something that is within my ability to currently handle in any kind of way. And I don't even want to attempt it. So for me, I'm really glad I don't have to deal with that. And honestly, I wouldn't have posted that video except like, oh my God, this might offend somebody. I might hurt somebody's feelings. I'm not going to do that anymore. I don't think I'm doing anybody any favors. Anyway, even when I post things that I think are okay, they're probably not okay. And I get a bunch of backlash from all that shit anyway. So I'm just going to speak freely. I'm looking forward to just not worrying about that anymore, since I don't have to have a discussion with anybody about how that hurt their feelings, or about how I should be different about something. So anyway, it is amazing how quickly this stuff shifts. I was in the gym just now. I was thinking about this stuff. I was thinking about that. I was thinking about the specific person thing. And one of my big problems with this whole online manifesting, YouTube manifesting movement that's happened. And I think there is a large contingent of it that is pushing everything that you have ever heard in your life about having to personally develop or get to know yourself, or, any of that, any kind of personal growth. That's all out the window. You don't have to do that. You can just manifest it. All you gotta do is just imagine it, and it'll just happen. Leaving out this whole aspect of life that doesn't stop or is no longer required, which is this sort of soul development that is the whole purpose, it seems to me, that we're here. And I don't think that anyone gets around that. You may be able to manifest some outer reality shifts, but it's still you there. It's still you experiencing it. if you manifest yourself a new car, I think a lot of people have the idea that getting this thing that they really want right now is going to change the way they feel all day long, and it turns out it just doesn't. Because what you really want is not the car. You do want the car. The car is often the thing that solves certain problems. If you have a piece of shit car that's constantly breaking down, getting a new one that doesn't will absolutely improve your life. Been there, done that. But what you really want is the improvement to your life. And yes, you're often going to get at least part of that in the way that you think you're going to get it. But the problem is that you don't get the rest of it. You only get 20% of what you think you're going to get from the thing that you're manifesting or that you want to get or whatever. You want to change the relationship you want to get, the change in yourself, What you really want is the elevation in your experience of life. And that only comes from changing yourself. Period. That true elevation, the thing that's with you all the time, the thing that is better 24/7, that is the personal change that seems to be left out of this whole thing. That was the first thing I was thinking about. That really bothers me. I've heard a lot of excuses about this from people that I think are kind of obnoxious, that are saying, well, you have to get the things you want to figure out that, you need to get these other changes, and to get the point that I just made, you really need to get the things first. And for some things and some people that may be true, but I think a lot of people can easily grasp this concept and learn from others rather than having to go through everything the hard way themselves. That needs to be talked about more. It's bullshit. And the other thing is with the SP thing, the way I see it, the way it seems to me, so many of the things that cause all these mental problems surrounding certain desires, are just culturally programmed. They're not even things you really want or need. They're things that you have seen so much and been led to believe that you need so much that it turns into what you believe is an actual desire. And that to me is I don't know. A lot of people seem to want to go for the Band-Aid solution to things. And I don't do that. I don't know. I don't know why that is. I don't know why. It just doesn't appeal to me at all. It's I was just a moderator on this subreddit, and I've got a handful of friends there that, we were all doing this moderator shit together, and lately we've been discussing over and over again, how do we fix this problem? It's totally toxic for us. We care about this thing. This subreddit is big. It's disseminating stuff, and we want to make sure that stuff isn't harmful, and we want to make sure this thing doesn't just turn into shit. But at the same time, it's awful for us. What do? We're going around and round and around, coming up with all these solutions. It's funny. We're all in our 40s, having this conversation about the subreddit. And I finally just realized these are all Band-Aid solutions. Nothing can be done here. Looking at this particular entity, this project, it's clear to me that it is going to shit, because that's just the way, that's just sort of the movement that it's sort of on, nothing's going to stop this thing. All these little measures are trying to, stop an ocean liner from leaving a port with spider silk or something. It's just not going to stop. It's already moving in a certain direction. And when I realized that fully, when I was okay, I get it. There's nothing we can do for this. It's clear that the only option here that makes any sense is to remove myself from it. All these other little Band-Aid solutions that were coming up, I was just, I was kind of considering it. And I'm just I can't go back from this. I get now that there's really only one thing to do. And at some point, that's just an example, at some point I came to that conclusion in general about my life, that once you realize what the core issue is with something, The Band-Aid solutions are a complete and utter waste of time. And when you realize something you're doing is a Band-Aid, even though it can be really emotionally difficult to stop doing it, it's insanity to do anything else. It's choosing to throw time away. And so, I don't know, I think once you get that, it's difficult, but you over time, when you start making the decisions to just address the problem instead of trying to, slap some temporary solution onto it, over time, you realize that you're gaining time and you're gaining energy by not wasting your time on these small things and just kind of doing the hard thing up front. And so with the specific person thing, I really think, it'll benefit a lot of people if you're watching this and you're in the specific person thing, or anything else that you think you're going to get in the 3D world that is going to really, really fix things for you, or you think it's really going to change things. I think it would really, to use a word my mom likes, it would really behoove you to just, start to face the real issues that are underlying all of these things that people chase. There's the issue of your own feelings of self-worth and how that fits into this whole picture of, this experience here. Which if you're into this like new agey shit, you probably don't have like some solid religious belief to fall back on to make you feel better about there's just this underlying, we don't know what's going on here. I've said this a million times on here. The fact that we don't know why we're here or what happens after this, what the fucking purpose is of any of the things that are happening, that to me is like at the bottom of everything for everyone. And if you can't come to a point where you are really okay with those things, like, you can either, if you can, get okay saying, I don't know, and that's cool. Like for me, for that stuff, it's really like, I really don't know. It kind of makes me uncomfortable, but I do think I've seen enough and believe enough to just sort of rest on it's all good at the end of the day. It's all good. Whatever it is, it's not a nightmare. It'll be revealed at some point and it's all good. And I personally, I'm interested in, I'm getting more interested now in the near-death experience stuff and other stuff. I'm starting to be interested in people's, experiences under hypnosis and stuff. I was reading Journey of Souls. I've kind of paused. I always get distracted in the middle of books, but I'm kind of interested in the experiences that people have had, and just building sort of a comfortable philosophy for myself about why this is all okay. Because when you get that really elevates everything. That's like having a gas tank that's 25% full all the time. Because you're like, it doesn't really matter, okay, things are fucked up here now. I'm not getting what I want, I'm miserable, but at least I know this whole thing is all good at the end of the day. If you can get to that point, then, I think you're gonna find just resolving that shifts everything that you want and your whole direction and your whole orientation to everything. So just fixing that, okay? And then, this is the other big one, I think, for a lot of people. I don't know if this is just me or if it's everybody or what, but you came into this world alone. It kind of goes with what I just said. You came into this world alone, you're leaving alone, and you don't really know where you came from or where you're going, but you're alone. There are other people here, there at least appear to be other people here, but you're alone. And that is the most terrifying fucking thing. And really, I think most people cannot, I know old people that I don't think are comfortable with that, like very old people. If you can also get comfortable with that, if you can face up to your fear about that, just by thinking about it a little bit, or, I sometimes run through scenarios to try to make myself get comfortable with things. Like, one thing that was really sucked throughout my 30s, when I decided not to have kids, I really spent a lot of time thinking about being old and alone, and that being horrible, And, you know, I had some experiences that sort of illuminated how awful being old and alone can be for other people. I, you know, witnessed some things. And I had to just start thinking of things in a different way. So, you know, I would think about being old and alone. And this community would say, hey, you know, just manifest somebody there. You'll, you know, it's like, rather than getting okay with it, there's this Band-Aid solution of thinking you can fix it in the 3D. For me, you know, it is nice to know that you can generally manifest your things that you want. So that also helps with that. But for me, you know, I like to think about things like, you know what, this situation could arise and this situation could totally suck. It could suck a lot. It could result in my death. It could result in, you know, having an extended period of being really physically uncomfortable. It could end up in having an extended period of being really mentally uncomfortable, or a combination of all those things. You know, and that would suck. And so what? Things in my life have sucked before. My life could go from not sucking to sucking. Why is that something? Why is the you know, the possibility or even probability that at some point in my life I will experience something that sucks? Why is that something that is like so terrifying? Like, why is things sucking something that I need to shape my whole life around? You know, I've experienced things that suck. I'm still here to talk about it. I might experience something that sucks later and not be here to talk about it. And I mean, there's all these boogeymen just ruling everything, running everything. And I really think that those things, this not knowing what we're here for, and fear of being alone, or fear of not having what you need, or fear of going through something alone that sucks, or just, you know, these possibilities that probably won't happen, honestly. You know, people have a way of finding other people when they need to be found, and it just, generally your fears never play out the way you think they will. You know, I think when you start to really get okay with these things, it changes things. It releases, like, for me, dealing with those two things and figuring out that I am not a deeply flawed person, that I'm not just like a rotten to the core person. Those things, which all sort of took place in the same period of time, my late 30s, those changed everything for me. You know, the thing that I wanted, that I thought I wanted the most my entire life, which was like the right relationship, the right person, I thought that was going to fix everything. Immediately, the desire for that dropped to like next to nothing. This thing that I thought was a solution, this thing that I wanted, you know, that I, honestly, like, when I think about it, it doesn't even really fall into the desire. It was like a burning need, obligation, thing that I was chasing. It wasn't even, you know, it didn't even feel good. It wasn't like, oh, I want that. It was like, I must get this. It just dropped to like nothing. And I was free of that monkey on my back. And I think, you know, a lot of people in the SP area are dealing with this exact thing. All three of those things. There's something wrong with me. I'm afraid of being alone. And, you know, I'm bad and I'm alone and I don't know what the fuck's going on here. I mean, what a hellacious existence. I'm gonna distract myself in any way I can. And I'm going to focus my mind on chasing after this thing, because that will fix it. I'll worry about the rest of this stuff later. I think dealing with the real issues, you're gonna find it saves you a lot of time. It gets you what you want, eventually, rather than never. Rather than it just always being this thing, this big illusion. Like, it's just living this big illusion. You think you want this thing because you think you need it in order to protect you from these phantom, you know, fears that, dude, I mean, come on, like, it's all good and none of this shit is gonna materialize. None of these fears are gonna materialize. And you know what? If they do, you're gonna deal with it. And you're gonna be okay. and it's going to be fine. And there's really no other way to live your life. If you want to watch a lot of YouTube channels and buy into this idea that, you know, that there's some secret way of avoiding all of this, that all these other dipshits just, you know, you're welcome to do that, but it's delaying the inevitable. It's delaying inevitably having to deal with yourself and all this stuff. And you can get everything you want, but if you have all of these fears clouding your judgment and your perception, your vision, you're not even going to know what it is that you really want. You're not even going to know who you really are. So, you know, good luck to everybody who is still trying to do the Band-Aid 3D fix by manifesting all this shit. I don't know. I hope that you don't make that mistake, whoever you are. So, all right, this is the ugliest video I've ever made. I hope you enjoyed it. Have a good day.